Hello and welcome to the news at noon on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM Abuja. I'm Oikeke Igado Kure. The headlines this hour. Senate calls on federal government to be more responsive to the needs of Nigerians. Forfeiture of Ikoyi Lagos apartment where EFCC recovered over $42 million. In Saudi Arabia orders citizens to leave Lebanon as tension rises. And in sports, Super Eagles to play Algeria today in World Cup qualifiers. Details of this and more in a moment. Stay with us.
This is Human Rights Radio 101.1, redefining broadcasting.
In other news, the Federal High Court in Lagos has ordered the temporal forfeiture of flat 7B Oxbourne Towers, Ikoyi, Lagos, where the sums of $43.4 million were discovered stashed in iron cabinets and bags in April. Justice Saliu ordered the forfeiture of the building to the federal government on Thursday following an expedited application by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The EFCC had earlier named the wife of the sacked Director General of the Nigerian Intelligence Agency, Folashade Oke, as the owner of the flat. The EFCC said it found out that Oke made a cash payment of $1.658 million for the purchase of the flat between August 25 and September 3, 2015. She was said to have purchased the property in the name of a company to which she and her son, Ayodele Oke Jr., were directors. The Senate has urged the federal government to be more up to its responsibility by providing for the social-economic needs of Nigerians. It said the government could tax the rich to provide social security for poor Nigerians as a way of preventing mass exodus of citizens from the country. The Senate on Thursday condemned the recent discovery of bodies of 26 female Nigerians in a Spanish boat while warning against illegal migration to Europe. Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Ekwe-Madu, at the plenary noted that it was the responsibility of the government to cater to the welfare of the citizens. He added that if every Nigerian have some food on the table every day and be able to go to school as well as afford medicine when ill, it will reduce the number of people who are desperate to leave the country. Members of the House of Representatives and other prominent Nigerians on Thursday warned Nigeria against supporting the application by Morocco to join the economic community of West African states. They also said Nigeria must not consider the option of exiting ECOWAS, having sacrificed so much for regional integration in the West African sub-region. The stakeholders reportedly spoke at a public hearing in Abuja on the review of Nigeria's membership of ECOWAS in view of the clamor to admit Morocco into the community. The hearing was organized by the House Joint Committees on Foreign Relations and Cooperation as well as Integration in Africa, chaired by Nnenna Ilendu Ukeje. All the stakeholders had the view that Morocco joining ECOWAS would have regrettable economic and political consequences for the sub-region, particularly for Nigeria. Nigerians have charged the federal government to use the opportunity presented by 2018 budget to correct the wrong in the area of healthcare delivery. In an interview with our correspondents in Abuja, they said if Nigerian hospitals are adequately equipped with the right infrastructure and personnel, there will be reduction in medical tourism.
Well, I can't say in Nigeria we are poor. It's just that we are oppressed. That's the word I will use. It's painful that we ourselves can actually enjoy what our country has. Instead, there are some designated people who enjoy it, who also bring their children's children into that same circle.
In this nation, if they want to do something good, they know the money they carry their way to outside. Even one person is enough to build more hospitals, even to equip the hospital with things that is good to do, but they won't do it.
I expect the federal government to really look into the educational sector and make it more soundable. Soundable as in that anybody who is qualified to be a minister of education should be given to by merit, not by appointment.
The planned action against illegal recruitment in government agencies and parastatals is what the people are saying will help tackle the issue of unemployment in the country. Those who spoke with Human Rights Radio in Abuja noted that the plan by the federal government will ensure that the right applicants are employed into the right positions, irrespective of their social status.
Before they will publish all those things, they are already giving the job out. That's what they do. So it's a welcome. If they can do it, it's very good.
It's a good step that he wants to take if they will obey, because in this country they does not obey instruction. They do things according to their own. If he can be able to set that standard for this country so that recruitment will be fair for everybody, those that qualify to be recruited, they should do. There are so many graduates outside that doesn't have a job.
Once you put a ban, and let it be a ban, and not just a ban on the paper, but what people will see physically that is no more happening. Then if you apply legally, then you get a job.
Residents of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, have decried what they called constant attacks by a syndicate of men of the underworld, popularly known as one-chance taxi drivers. The criminals who poses as taxi drivers employ different tactics to rob the victims of their property. The residents advised Nigerians to be more vigilant in order not to fall victim to the notorious group of criminals.
How it happened to me, when I entered and then when I wanted to sit, somebody came out that should stay in the middle. They just removed this knife, not even a gun, and they said I must bring the bag. And before you know it, the driver grabbed him by the neck, that I must leave the bag, they release us to go. So if you want to enter a vehicle and they insist you must sit in the middle, then you should suspect.
The only thing I would advise Nigerians is that whenever they enter any cab, they should look at the door first, the door handle. If the door doesn't have door handle from the outside, they should do well not to enter the car, because I've once fell into their trap.
We are approaching the season. You know how the season is working. Now we have a lot of tele, one chance all over the world now. So any car that you want to enter, be careful. Enter motor from the park, from the right source. Don't just stand by the roadside and enter motor, any motor that you see, so that you'll be safe.
You just have to be very bold. Maybe you are entering a cab. I know ladies are already conscious of this. Most times you enter a cab and then when they see there's only guys in the car, they won't enter. You should be alert to even use your instincts. One other thing that we tend to overlook is vehicle numbers. Some of these people, they don't have vehicle numbers because they know with vehicle numbers you can trace them if the vehicles are registered.
We'll take a short break now, but we'll be right back. Stay with us.
It's about that time. This is Human Rights Radio 101.1. Redefining broadcasting.
Welcome back. And on the foreign scene, Saudi Arabia has ordered its citizens to leave Lebanon immediately, escalating a regional standoff with Iran centered on the fragile state which it claims is being run by Tehran's proxy Hezbollah. The move follows a week of rhetoric from the Sunni Arab powerhouse about its shared rival, drawing strong support from Donald Trump and Israel, all three of whom insist Iran is fetching strongholds across the region. The standoff has taken tensions between Riyadh and Tehran to new levels and raised fears within the regions. Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte has claimed his country is willing to host a World Summit on Human Rights despite widespread criticisms over his administration's deadly war on drugs and undermining of the National Human Rights Commission. The firebrand leader, who spoke in a news conference late on Thursday while in Vietnam for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting, said the summit should focus on human rights violations not just in the Philippines but globally. At least 7,000 people have been killed in anti-drug operations since Duterte took power last June, according to official police statistics, with some rights groups estimating the figure to be more like 13,000. And in sports, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have arrived safely in Constantine, Algeria, ahead of today's 2018 World Cup qualifier against the Phoenix of Algeria, scheduled to hold later in the evening. According to the official Twitter handle of the Super Eagles, the team was well received by the people of Algeria on arrival. Irrespective of the result today, Nigeria are already through to the World Cup in Russia, while Algeria will seek to record their first win in African qualifying Group B, having lost 4 times and drawn once in 5 games. Abuja, that's the news, but we'd like to remind you that Senate has called on federal government to be more responsive to the needs of the citizens. And court orders forfeiture of Ikoyi Lagos apartment where EFCC recovered over $42 million. Another foreign scene, Saudi Arabia orders citizens to leave Lebanon as tension rises. And in sports, Super Eagles to play Algeria today, later in the evening in World Cup qualifiers. That's the news, but you can also continue to follow us on our social media handle. Facebook is Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. You can also tweet at us at HRights Radio. My name is Oikeke Igado Kure. Thank you for listening.